Okay, now we're going to cover several things. Now, we cut the tile on the last video, and I've got it in place at the present time, but we've got to check the wall to find out how level it is, so we know what we need to do and how much thin set we're going to need to put in here. If your walls are perfectly level, then it's pretty much consistent all the way through in what you do. Otherwise, you've got to make adjustments. So I'm going to show you what most people aren't telling you. All right. Now, I've cut the top. It fits in here well. I'm going to have to shim it from the bottom. Now, I usually do not cut the top of my tile. I'll take my tile and I'll flip it upside down and backwards. Okay? So that I'm marking the bottom of my tile, so when I cut it, it's at the top, but when I cut it, it goes to the bottom, and that's why I usually will flip my tile upside down and backwards, so the face of the tile will go against the wall. All right? So I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll get into the rest of it. So with no further ado. All right, you can see here, I cut this tile top. All right, now if I shim it at the bottom, it's not shimmed presently. All right, I can get this shimmed up and get the space I want, and I have some room to play with, so I'm good. Now I haven't cut this. The next one I'll be cutting is this wedge, this piece out here that I've got marked. All right, that's the next piece I'm going to cut. Now, far as the wall, but before I get to that, normally this is how it would go. All right, I take the tile and I'd flip it literally before I cut it. All right, I would flip this tile upside down and backwards, just like this, to mark it. Okay, the top is at the bottom. Okay, so bottom would be up, and I would mark the back of the tile, and then I would cut it. All right, that's what I would normally do. That way you don't interfere with the straight edge on top. But the other thing I could have done in this situation is I could have taken this to 19, all right, and then cut it at 19, this piece all the way across, and it would have fit. And then I just would have had to shim it up at the bottom, and it would have fit all the way across just by cutting it at its lowest point. All right, so cut it at the lowest point. If you have enough space at the bottom to play with, just that's what you do, and it's quick and easy that way. Just by measuring to the lowest point, whatever the lowest point is here, whichever end is at the lowest point, or whether it's the middle, anyways. And if you have enough room to come up at the bottom, then you can do that, and that's quick and easy. Okay, now I'm going to show you this wall. All right, let's check the wall for plumb. All right, let's look at this here. That bubble's way out, so to get plumb, all right, I'm gonna have to be out a good, I say at least 3/16 minimum. Okay. Nah, more like 1/4 of an inch minimum to be level. All right. So that means that the top portion of this tile, when I put my thin set up, it's going to have to be thicker at the top. Okay. So that's real important to know. All right. So next I'm going to do is we're going to cut this angle here. So let's go to the saw. Okay, we're out at the saw. and I'm getting started. So I'm going to show you how I set up this angle on this long tapering wedge cut. And that's what I'm going to call it, for lack of calling it what else it may be called. So it's a long tapering wedge cut. Okay, it's a big wedge taper cut. All right, now the sight on this particular saw is right here. This little lip right here. All right, this edge is the outside edge of where I want to line up the edge of the tile. All right, so this is going to have to move over to about right here, so it's in line with that lip. Okay, then over at the blade, okay, I've got my blade here. Let me bring it in. I'll bring it in. Okay, I just lost my blade and angle. All right, as you see, okay, I've got this right about where I want it. All right, I may tweak it a little bit, but basically it's right there where I want it. And now I'm going to adjust this. Okay, now in doing so, I've got this, whoops, just dropped that in the water. Okay, I have this little wedge or shim, okay, and then that's going to go in combination with this wedge or shim, whatever you want to call it. All right, so I've got the blade up against the tile. Okay, now I'm going to bring this back, get that lined up here where I want it there, and then I'm going to sight down. I'm looking straight down along the face of this tile edge here, straight down from here down to the sighting down to that lip, which is my sight for my tile. And while I'm talking to you, I'm over here putting in the wedges. All right, getting them in place as we speak. Well, that's not going to work, so I'll take this out. We're going to stick this in. All right, now that's going to hold it in place there. I got to double check and make sure where I want to be there. I'm good. I'm right where I want to be on the blade. Can you see it? Okay. Look forward where you can see clear. All right, there we are. All right, I'm going to pull this back so it's not touching the blade. Once the water starts flowing, we can cut. Double check. Yes, I'm right where I want to be. Okay, I have a little difficulty here. All right, but the grout will fill this in. All right, and so this shouldn't show. Okay, the truth, everybody. Will this stay or will it go? That's the question. Will it stay or will it go now? Will it stay or will it go? All right, we're going to find out. You ready? Here we go. Moment of truth. I'm either going to be humiliated, embarrassed, and have to quit my YouTube channel, or it's going to be good. No, I'm joking. All right, let's see what it looks like. All right, moment of truth. Well, how do you grade that? Is that an A or a B, C or D? Now, remember, on the bottom, the same wedge I used I'll just show you real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So we're going to give you an illustration. All right, if I can get out of the way, this is like a 4x4 area, and I've got a shower seat in it, so we don't even have that. So I'm working with. All right, I'm going to take my shim and my other shim, okay? I've got this gap here. So I'm going to come here at the bottom, and I'm going to put the shim under here. All right, now I've got my 1/8 inch spacer. Okay, my 1/8 inch spacer goes right here. All right, that means I need to adjust it because it won't fit. That's like a 1/16 of an inch right there, which is great, but I don't know. I'm going to do it that way. 1/8 is good though. 1/16 inch is nice, but 1/8 is acceptable. All right, there's one of them. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, put this one over here on this corner, and then I'm going to raise it up unless it's tight, and it's tight. So that's what I'm going to do. I only have to wedge just this one corner. I thought I was going to have to wedge this one as well, which I was going to come in here at an angle, like you see here, to get that wedged up, all right? It's kind of hard. You can come in this way, but whatever works. And then if you need to, you can take another wedge and slide it up underneath the first one and raise it up some more and make your adjustments, all right? Sometimes you might want to take this is a 5-way, a putty knife, put it underneath, and then raise and help make that adjustment and getting it leveled and how you want it that way. But now remember, I cut this one on the top. I normally do not cut the top. I take the tile, I just flip it upside down so the face is facing the wall. Then I mark the back side of the tile on each edge, and then I make my cut. Now you don't have to have the line all the way across like I was doing, but that way you know if when you're cutting, if it's off a little bit, you can see it, and you know how to make corrections, and that's why you can have that line all the way across for that purpose. But once you get good and confident and comfortable, you don't need the line. You just need a line on one end and a line on the other end, and you line it up with the blade and whatever you're using over here for aligning the back, whatever the gauge is, whatever the side is on your particular wet saw. And you get those 2 points lined up, and you're good. You don't need a line in between once you're comfortable. But until then, you use a straight edge, and you connect your lines. Now on the angle, I brought my level here, all right, and then I brought it clear out to the corner, all right, so there's the angle, and then you hold it, and you just hold it right here to the outer edge at the top, and you just scribe up with your pencil, and there's your line, okay? So I think I've covered all the bases. So except for mixing up some mud, and I have a video showing you how to mix up the mud, the thin set. It's not too far down in the list. I have some videos on the shower curbing here. And on my other shower curb, I rounded over my edge, and it bypasses about 1/4 of an inch on each side, 3/8 of an inch on each side, and I rounded them over, gave it a bull nose. And I show you how to do that in my other videos as well. So if you go through my list, I'm in the process of putting together some playlists where they'll all be in one place. And I just started that. So anyways, it'd be worth your time if you're wanting to do this, to do that, to find my other videos. I show you all the techniques, all the tricks. The diamond impregnated polishing pad if you want to use water with. If you haven't liked or subscribe. And leave a comment so I know you've been there, and so I can hit you back and make a comment back. Look forward to getting to know you and your channel, or your channel and you. And we're just keeping it real. And never give up, because there's always a way. And remember, take the time to do it right. I can't stress that enough. Okay? Take the time to do it right. And one other thing, if you notice, on that last cut, it was off up here on the inside, but you don't even see that. Let me give you a nice close-up on that. Okay, where it was off at the top, you can't even tell it was off in the cut, yet it's there. I didn't fix it. And just to show you, you know, seeing's believing, there is the imperfection right there, but it blends in because of how it's cut. And I recognize that, so I left it, okay? But that's just getting familiar with your equipment and your tools and the product you're working with. You know where your allowances are, and that's not much. So we're going to sign out.